It's the Half Hour Wasted and Legion of Dudes podcasts. This is Jordan from Jersey with the Legion of Dudes, and this is with all the comics I read the week of July 8th, 2010. Now, there's a whole bunch of books I'm going to be reviewing next week. This week there's only two, though, so let's get right to them. First off, we have Orson Scott Card's Ender in Exile, issue 205. This picks up where Ender's game left off. And I don't like this as much as the first issue. The first issue was really promising. This one was kind of weird. Ender continues his, I don't want to say battle with, but he continues his argument, or really starts and ends it, really, in this issue, with the captain of the ship, and that was really strange, because the captain comes off as a stark raving lunatic who's completely after Ender, and then he changes his mind. Now, yes, there were things to make him change his mind, but the way that he went about changing his mind and the night and day shift between I can't stand you, Ender, I'm, going to do everything I can to stop you, to, oh, this kid isn't so bad. Really? I mean, that was a weird characterization shift. Now, granted, we got 3 issues left. He could just be faking. I've never read the story before, so I don't know. He could just be faking. He might come back later. He could be bipolar. Don't know. But it was a very strange characterization shift. I continue to really like the art. There's not a whole lot of chance for the artist to show off. No splash pages or anything like that, really. But really good face work. You can really tell the differences between the characters. A lot of good shading. But so far, everything's been relegated to kind of indoor shots, hallways, close-ups on people. I'm really interested to see what the artist can do when we branch out into space, get some shots like that, shots of ships or landscapes or something just to break it up. There's one landscape that's really quick that happens in here. It looks cool, but I'm interested to see what we can do with more. So only time will tell in the final 3 issues of Ender in Exile. Now, before we get to our final book, don't forget to check out hhwlod.com and forumforgeeks.com. That's hhwlod.com. HHW stands for Half Hour Wasted. That's a every Monday podcast with 3 awesome guys from Texas who talk about anything they want to. Last week they talked about Star Trek Next Generation, and despite the fact that I haven't actually seen a whole lot of it, it was a very funny conversation and made me kind of want to check out the show. The LOD and hhwlod.com stands for Legion of Dudes. That's the show I recently joined as a co-host. We just recently talked about Star Wars Infinities. That show comes out this Thursday. We talked about True Blood. That was a really fun show. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff that I'm really looking forward to in the upcoming weeks, including sometime in August, probably my first show as a lead host, in which I get to choose the book and direct the conversation, and so that should be really fun. If you've been watching these reviews since the beginning, or you've gone back and checked out some of my older ones, you've actually gotten a taste of the book I'm going to be reviewing, but I won't give that away for right now. So check out hhwlod.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, give us some reviews. We'd really love it. And don't forget to subscribe here, because I would love that. And also check out forumforgeeks.com. That's our brand new forum. It's really hopping. Lots of stuff going on there. Forums for music. Just posted some free MP3s up there. Legal ones, don't worry. And music, movie forums and book forums and comic forums and even sports geeks and tech geeks. And if you can be a geek about it, except for maybe crafts, although there is toys and collectibles, you're going to find it there. But let's get on to our final book of the week. And that would be The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 636, the third part of 4 of Grim Hunt. So I was reading another review on this issue a few days ago, and the reviewer pointed out that, hey, as The Amazing Spider-Man has had a problem of doing recently, they switch artists halfway through the book. Or not halfway, but partway through the book. It really surprised me, because I read the whole book and I didn't notice any artist switch. I hate when they do that a ton. It really annoys me. I pointed it out many, many times here, so I'll stop talking about it. The point is, however, I went back and checked, and sure enough, the last 4 pages of the issue, of the main story, because there's 2 backup stories, different artists. The difference here is I couldn't tell the difference. They look exactly the same to me. Now, granted, I'm not a trained artist, but I must say, Marvel, if you're going to switch artists in the middle of books, thank you for making them look exactly like the artist, to at least a layperson like me, exactly the same as the main artist. If you can do that, I have no problem with it. So in this case, no problem here. The art looks spectacular and dark and gritty and perfect for Grim Hunt throughout the whole issue. The main story, at least, because the backup stories aren't necessarily that dark. Now, onto the main story. As was guessed last week, here, and many, many other places, yeah, Spider-Man's not actually dead, because that would be crazy. Looks like Kane is, however. Now, how they're going to explain that, because Kane's like a foot and a half taller than Peter, and yes, he cut his hair and shaved his beard last issue, which was strange, but that doesn't generally make you shrink a foot and a half. I don't think. I'm not going to try because I'm short enough already, but yeah, that was strange. So not the greatest reveal, but I can look aside from that because the rest of the issue, like this whole arc, was really good. Last issue also, Kraven the Hunter was brought back to life, although it turns out because they used Kane and not Spider-Man, didn't go perfectly according to plan. There's some screw-ups, and he's not particularly happy about being brought back to life. If you've ever read Kraven's Last Hunt, you know he faked Spider-Man's death to the point where even readers thought Spider-Man was dead, and then he had completed his life's work and put a shotgun in his mouth, and that's not how a shotgun looks, but ignore that, and ended it. He had completed what he wanted to do, and he washed his hands of everything. He was ready to die. So he's not particularly happy now that he's being brought back and in this way, and yeah, there's some tension in the Kraven household. Mommy and Daddy are fighting. Oh, and it looks like Peter will be back in the black costume next week, for no apparent reason. But, it's fine with me. I like the black costume. That's it for what I thought of the comics I read the week of July 8th, 2010. So be sure to check in just a couple of days when I get my review up. Hopefully not as late as this one, but for the final issue of Grim Hunt, for some black-suited Spider-Man action, as well as some more updates on Half Hour Wasted, Legion of Dudes, and Forum for Geeks. Remember, hhwled.com, forumforgeeks.com. They're both awesome. You're going to want to check them out. And I've got a whole bunch of books to review next week, in addition to Spider-Man. Really cool stuff. Avengers Academy's in there, and other things that I won't go into right now, but you're going to want to check back. So see you in a week, and have a good one. It's the Half Hour Wasted and Legion of Dudes podcasts.